Are you ready to become awesomer? Hello, everyone. My name is Umar. I'm your host on the No Limit Selling podcast, where industry leaders share their tips, strategy, and advice on how you can become better, stronger, faster. Just before we get started, I've got a question for you. Do you have a negative voice inside your head? We all do, right? I'm going to help you remove that voice in under 30 days guaranteed. Not only remove it, but transform it. So instead of the voice that sabotages you, there's one that propels you to much higher levels of performance and success. There's a link in the show notes. Click on it to find out more. All right, let's get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the No Limit Selling podcast. And real estate really is the pulse of the economy and the psyche of the people. What's the level of confidence in the economy, in themselves, and the people that pervade that, connect buyers and sellers to the actual property are realtors. And today we're joined by Nikki. Nikki, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me today.
But isn't that true what I said? That, hey, it's how people feel about the housing market really dictates how well the economy is doing.
Yes, very much so. So I think the confidence from the economy is played out in the real estate world.
Brilliant. Do you think I look more intelligent with glasses?
I do.
But now I can see you, which is like really amazing. So, Nikki, you're in Carroll County. How long have you been a realtor?
I have been in real estate full-time for 20 years.
So starting to get good at it. I like that.
Yes, I'm a veteran now.
So one of the things that's kind of interesting is it's never freaking boring. Like every transaction is different. And sometimes you get this like weird thing comes in, and that's why people get realtors, is not for the mundane, straightforward transaction. It's what if something weird happens, then you need a professional by your side to help you navigate that and still get to the conclusion you want.
Right. Realtors, we're here to protect the buyers and the sellers, and it's kind of the next step before you hire an attorney.
Yeah. So tell me about one of those times where you had something came out of left field at the last minute and you had to resolve it.
Oh my gosh. I had one like 15 years ago that I'll never forget, where the septic failed the day we went to do the walkthrough. It was the settlement. And a couple hours before settlement, we walked through and the septic had failed, and it was throughout the house. And luckily we had a home warranty that had fixed it all, but it was a mess, and we had to push back settlement a little bit. But we did come to an agreement with the seller, and it was all worked out, and I still sold that house.
Nice. Actually, I had a friend of mine who purchased a house in Sudbury, Ontario, on the lake. And it was an older house, needed a bunch of work, and it was closing in 2 weeks. So they'd already signed the documents, and it was just 2 weeks before they moved in.
Right.
And the house burned down in a fire.
Oh my gosh. I've sold one that burned down like literally right after I sold it. It was friends of mine too, and their house burned down right after they settled.
So for our hero, she was like, woohoo, because with the insurance money, she could build a new house on this gorgeous piece of property. And of course, the buyers were like, we don't want to sell it now.
Right.
Because we want to do that. And they ended up doing the transaction because that's what the buyer wanted. And she ended up with a brand new house at this picturesque thing. So, it always works out in the end if you've got somebody that can keep you grounded along that journey.
Right.
So, Nikki, when you started, did you join a team or did you go solo?
When I started in 2002, we didn't have the concept of teams necessarily, but I did partner up with agents throughout my first 10 years in the business. I started with 2 veteran agents who guided me. I was young. I was 20 years old. I didn't know how to buy a house. I had to have mentors for a while. So was on that team, and then I transferred to another team for a few years, and then I ventured out on my own.
Nice. And, there's something really powerful to be said for people that are young and dumb. Because the veteran says, go do this. And she's like, okay, I want to go do it. And people that have been there a while, it's like, oh no, fear comes up and I'm not sure I can do this. And so there's like something amazing about just being bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and just assuming that's what people do.
Exactly.
So do you have a team now?
I do. I actually, my husband is licensed with me as well.
Mhm.
He's a commercial banker, but he helps me with real estate on the side too. And then I also have two agents. They're young as well. They're where I was, 20 years ago. And they are my buyer's agents and they help out my clients as well.
Ah, brilliant. And so as you have this team and you're building the team, what would be 5 pieces of advice you'd give people so they build the right team?
Ooh, that's a good one. My feeling is you have to go with your gut for one thing. If you really connect with somebody who shows you that they want to work, then bring them on, mentor them. My second piece is
Oh, hold on. Before you go to the second piece, I'm going to interrupt you. So, dear realtors, if you're about to do what Nikki says, this is what I want you to do. You're going to gain 30 pounds of weight doing this, but go to a lot of restaurants. And some of the most successful realtors I've seen are people that work at the bar, waitresses, and waiters, because they know that human connection, how to handle difficult situations, how
Mhm.
not to panic in dire situations. And if you find the right personality that's got a drive to succeed, they're going to be rock stars in this industry. And I've met
Right.
some of the most successful realtors that were ex barkeeps or waiters.
I agree. Nurses and teachers are the other ones.
Ah, love it. And
Workers.
I've met a lot of teachers that actually end up being great CEOs.
Oh wow, yeah, that's fascinating. That
And
I can see that.
I asked them, it's like, hey, how's this different than, dealing with like elementary school kids? It's no different. They're just older children. All right. So go with your gut as number one. What is number two?
Number two is to have your systems in place. I think that's the most important. Is that if you have systems and they can plug into your systems, then they can be successful under you as well.
Okay. So just to add to that, people wait to get the right system, the perfect system. It does not
Right.
exist. So what you need to do is to get a system, no matter how badly it sucks, because probably it's not going to suck that badly. And
Right.
once you have that system, here are the steps to do X. Then as you do those things, you notice, what if I change this step number 3 a little bit, tweaked it? Would it give me better results? And if it does, you've modified it for the better. I was listening to this guy who is a world-class speaker, and I think one of his brothers owns Expedia, and another family member owns another massive company, and so it's just driven to succeed, this family. And the guy has one talk. He's a photographer, and he does this talk around that, doesn't change it. He says, the only thing I do is at this moment in the talk, I give a half-second pause. I'm going to try a second pause and see how the reaction with the crowd is. And he's just tweaking his process
Mm-hmm.
to just be perfection. And I think the greedy bastard charges about $25,000 a speech and has a
Wow.
lineup of people waiting. And the way he perfected it was to get the process for his presentation
Mm-hmm.
and just iterate to make it better and better as he goes. So absolutely get a
Right.
process before you hire anybody.
Yes,
What's number
100%.
3?
Number three is to hire a coach. If you're going to be coaching other agents and mentoring other agents, you should be coached as well. And they always say it's just like a baseball player or anybody else that's professional. They have coaches. We need to have coaches as well.
The best in the world have coaches.
Yes.
And dear listeners and viewers, if you're looking for a coach who looks incredibly handsome in a black shirt and matching glasses, you know where to find me. So yeah, absolutely. And I think what's kind of interesting is when you get coached, it just gives you clarity on what you're doing.
Yes.
And sometimes the coach doesn't even do anything. You're just sharing the issue, and then you kind of go, oh, I used to do tech support for Hewlett Packard, and some of the calls went like this, good morning. And they go, I've got this problem. Oh, please tell me about the problem. And they go, blah, 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 blah. And at the end of it, they go, oh, and they go, oh my God, you're so smart. Thanks so much for helping me. And all I did was just
Facilitate the
listen.
conversation, that thought. Yeah.
Yeah, and the person got their own epiphany and figured it out. And I
Mhm.
think that's one of the magic things you can do as a coach is not tell people, because you coach your staff as well.
Right.
Is sometimes if they get their own epiphany, it allows them to get the breakthrough they need. And for someone like you, certainly your partner, your significant other is there,
Mhm.
but sometimes he's the problem, or it's just you can't articulate because there's a familiarity there. Having that person that loves you as a coach, that's there
Yes.
for you, not judgmental, is super huge.
Right. It's even better if you don't even, if you're not near them and they actually are across the country or somewhere else. Then there's no judgment. They're in a completely different market. They get to learn about
Yeah.
your market and help you through your market. It could be something they've
And
already seen.
and just to add to that, soldiers that suffer from uh, PTSD,
Yes.
they find some of the most effective therapists are AIs,
Hmm.
where they know they're talking to a computer,
Wow. That's
and
fascinating.
it just allows them to really open up because it's not a human being, and they're getting like phenomenal results.
Right.
So sometimes having that ability that they're not there is
Mm-hmm.
huge.
Right.
So recapping, we've got go with your gut.
Mm-hmm.
Second one, remind me, what was that?
Second one was, oh my gosh, I'm going blank too now. The second one was to, was hire a coach, was the third. Um,
The second one was genius, but we're going to go to number
yeah, I
four
don't
now.
know where I'm going. The next one that I was thinking in my head was time block.
Absolutely.
And
Why
I
is that
think my
important, do you
coach,
think?
um, personally, time blocking gives me that validity of doing my items that need to be done to make the money. And then I can go on and do the things that I want to do for fun, or I want to perfect a little bit more, like my systems. I can play with them. If I've already done the money making activities, my day feels complete. I try to do them first thing in the morning. That way, the
Brilliant.
rest of my day, if I get interrupted or someone calls me for an appointment, I can kind of jump over and go do that. And that's made me successful for the 20 years I've been doing this. I literally every morning get done my lead generating money making activities.
Brilliant. And I'll just add to that, Nikki, is this sounds very unromantic, but really time blocking time with your significant other and just saying, okay, this is the time I'm going to make him feel loved or her feel loved. And because if you don't do that, life just gets in the way. And it's like you feel it, but they don't feel it. And so just time block lots of things. And even those things that seem like, no, I want it to be spontaneous. Yeah, then it'll happen like once every 8 years. So
Right.
time block that too.
You do. You have to time block your personal life too, because real estate will take over.
Oh, absolutely. And what's next on the list?
The last one is for me personally, and this has been tough. I just started doing this, so but it's really recording and tracking yourself, your numbers. Like you have to track your conversations. You have to know what your conversion rates are. You don't know what your goals are going to be until you actually track. And I've learned that tracking is very difficult for a lot of people, and it's eye opening when you see how many conversations you have with how many people you're actually converting into an appointment, or even if that's going for a coffee date, that's still an appointment. And that's the kind of stuff we need to do more of. Like realtors need to be the connectors between people. So I do believe that having a coffee date every week is necessary. I do believe in going to lunch with even your friends, past clients, invite them.
Mm.
You know, you don't realize how much people actually like that until you're inviting them and being that person who's helping them get out, connect, and share their life with you.
Brilliant. And I'll just kind of go with that tracking everything. And there's a reason people don't track stuff because they
Mm-hmm.
don't want to know.
Right, right.
And if you're in this business, you need to know. And for this very basic reason that I have 5 conversations before I get someone to say, yes, I want to list with you. Let's say that's the number.
Right.
And if you know what that number is, it's not like, oh, that's the number. It's like, what happened on number 5 that got them to say yes? What would happen if I did that at number 2? Would that shorten it to 4? And then you can tweak and you can go to your coach and go, hey, coach, this is what's going on. And I'm doing 5. Is there any way to make that better? And sometimes they go, oh, yeah, you need to start laying this groundwork on meeting number 1, and you're going to start seeing results shorter. So if you track, you can improve. If you don't track,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to try and improve, but to improve what?
Right.
Because you don't know what that process is and you're not tracking it.
Right.
So Nikki, this is where we go to make you sweat. So we've got 5. Now we're going to play a game. And the game is I'm going to come up with one and you're going to come up with one, and that'll give you a chance to think.
Okay.
Okay, so number 6. So building a team. So one of the things you need to do when you're building a team is this: is everybody runs their life through a metaphor,
Hmm.
and it could be you've got somebody on your team that is an avid bowler,
Mm,
and they've got that framework, excuse the pun, hot wired in their system because it's all about bowling and the release and all that stuff. And if you really want them to understand something and they're not getting it, you
mhm.
put it in the framework of bowling, and instantly they'll go, "Oh, I get that." Before you go to release the ball, you need to be in the right mindset
Right.
to do that, and that's exactly what you need to do before you go on a listing appointment. And I was like, "Oh, that makes perfect sense." So
Does make
figuring out the model that each one of your agents has
sense.
allows you to communicate at a much deeper level and get that communication to be more effective and do it faster. And number 7 to you, Miss Nikki.
Oh, what's another one? Um, I think having a good CRM is part of our systems. But to me, the CRM is something I'm in every day for multiple hours. And a CRM is a contact relationship manager.
Mm,
And everyone should have that piece of software. That's the beginning step of being a realtor or being any salesperson, really needs to have a CRM. And that's
absolutely, because your resource is not the house.
mhm,
Your resource are the human beings you collect along the way.
right,
And you're going to get this amazing resource that trusted you to get them their home. And then it's like, okay, goodbye.
right,
Hopefully you'll remember me in 5 years. But if you keep that relationship, and the only way you can keep it is through the CRM,
right.
and there is gold in them there hills.
There is. And I personally love um, like client events and thank you parties. And I love hosting for other people, anything. I host housewarming parties for a lot of my clients once they buy. So I really enjoy hosting. And that's what I use my CRM for a lot too, is actually reaching out to everybody, dropping voicemails, letting them know that we did a trunk or treat here. We're doing a breakfast with Santa next month. And I love having everybody get together and
Nice.
even swing by and say hi. You know what I mean? And the CRM is actually automated. I actually am the owner of one. I designed one that
Oh,
is completely automated.
okay. So give us the name of that so we can put the link in and promote it for you as well.
Yeah, definitely. I couldn't find what I needed as a realtor, so I ended up designing one, and it's called leadhawk.com. It's got a hyphen, lead-hawk.com. And it's a CRM that does absolutely everything for you, all in one place. It's
Love
literally
it.
does Facebook ads, Google ads. It has full marketing funnels. It has voicemail drop, text messaging. Everything's automated. So
Ah, love it.
yeah,
So we need to come up with one for you guys. So here's going to be my last one, and then you get to have the final word. So one of the things that you need to do is to reach out to everybody, uh, just to do a check-in. And if you can do a check-in with, if in your CRM, if you keep notes and you know that this person is a Elton John fan, let's say, and you see a news story about Elton John, just clicking that over to them, saying, "Hey, I came across this. I know you like Elton John." Just doing that makes people feel cared for and connected, and it adds value to the thing. So each time you call them, it's not about give me a listing or give
hmm,
me a referral. It's just acknowledging them as a human being
right.
and how much they're valued, and that goes a long way.
I love that
This is
idea. Yes, yeah. I have one that goes along with that too. Is I every morning when I have my coffee in the morning, I sit down and I pick a letter of the alphabet and I go through my phone and I click that letter in, like let's say I do K and my friend
love
T
it.
comes up or somebody, I'll actually message them and say, "Hey, I was just thinking of you. Hope all is well." And
I love that. That is simple and that's genius because it's a way of triggering something.
mhm.
So just to add to that is I decided that I wanted to get back on the squash court, but I'd ripped my Achilles tendon 3 times playing squash.
Ouch.
And so it takes about a year to heal, and it was healing, but it wasn't fully there. And it's like, I can't do physiotherapy because it's like boring. But what I'm going to do is each time I come to a set of stairs,
Mhm.
I'm going to go down the first stair, put my toes on the ledge, and extend my foot down so it stretches that.
Right.
And every time I come to a set of stairs, I'll do that. And after about 2 weeks, it was like elongated and stretched. And I got back on the squash court, and I've been playing for like 3 years now without injury.
Wow.
And it was just that simple thing. So I love that. Pick a random letter, and who's in that, give them a call. Total genius.
Right. I've done that for 20 years and it's worked. It's like, if you pick 3 to 5 every day, it doesn't feel like you're lead genning.
Yeah. So Nikki, tell me, what in your business brings you joy?
Oh my gosh. I love real estate. I love houses, period. I grew up selling them since I was, 10 years old. My father was a custom home builder. So,
Oh, nice.
yeah, so I kind of grew up in the world of construction. I was walking property lines at 5 years old, that type of thing. And I've just always had a passion for it. I love when people find a house that they love. It's just the joy that you see is amazing to me. I'm just, that warms my heart.
Outstanding. The just being able to kind of live that every day is totally amazing.
Right.
What's one mind hack you'd like to share with our viewers and listeners that would make them more effective, happier, sexier? What would that be?
Mind hack? Well, every morning I read for 10 minutes and I do it before I get out of bed. I don't look at my phone and I read for 10 minutes, something that is positive. I have a book right now called The Stories You Choose. And
I love it.
Yeah, it's a really good one, actually. It's actually puts me in the mindset for the day of knowing that whatever I tell myself is the story I'm going to live today.
I love that. There's this, I think, Chinese art of I Ching.
Uh-huh.
And I Ching is about getting messages. And so sometimes when you're struggling with something, go to your bookshelf, randomly pick a book, open a random page, point at a word or that line. And oftentimes the answer to your problem is in that line, or it sparks an idea that gets you to go, oh my God, I never thought of it that way.
Right.
And so I love that serendipity of things. Nikki, thank you so much for a delightful interview.
Thank you, Umar. Appreciate it.
If you enjoyed this episode, please go to iTunes and leave a 5-star rating. And if you're looking for more tools, go to my website at nolimitselling.com. I've got a free mind training course there that's going to teach you some insights from the world of neuro-linguistic programming, and that is the fastest way to get better results.